Thank you, Bill, and thank you, brothers. What a great turnout we have here this evening for our 40th Fiji Academy, huh? How about that? We had about 670 brothers pre-registered for this event. JB, is that an all-time record attendance? It is. It's the biggest Fiji Academy we've ever had here tonight, brothers, and you're part of that. Let me also thank, as Bill did, the undergraduates that are here tonight. I clearly remember finishing up finals, as many as you did just a few weeks ago, and can't wait to get home to rest and recharge the batteries and sleep in and veg out on the couch and see some friends. But for you to come here, to travel to St. Louis, many of you great distances, to spend a couple of days to invest in education and your leadership, really is a great demonstration of your commitment and dedication to the job. And I'd just like to thank you for the time you're investing into that. Thank you very much, undergraduate brothers. And as Bill had recognized, we have 130 graduate brothers registered here tonight who have also made some sacrifices to attend. Many of you taking vacation days to travel and attend today. Many of you have kids home from school or kids returning from college, and you're giving up 2 or 3 very precious days of family time to be with us, to learn, but also share what you've learned with the leaders here in Phi Gamma Delta. We couldn't do it without you. What a great commitment and sacrifice, and we thank you for your dedication to your roles, volunteer roles as well. Thank you. I like to call this a big Fiji event because it really is. Where else can you find nearly 700 Fijis in the room at the same time? I can clearly remember my first big Fiji event. It was at also a Fiji Academy, and when we used to have them in the summer in 1981 at Ohio State University. And I walked into a room very similar to this, and the first time you see 500 or 600 Phi Gams in the room at the same time, it kind of takes you back a little bit. And it really changed my perspective a little bit. It made me realize how big this fraternity really is. Of course, you learned it like I did, that today we're represented on over 150 campuses, and you know that number. But until you walk in the room and see representatives from all those different campuses, different but yet the same, it really brings that perspective of how big the organization is. Not only big breadth-wise, but big over history and time. You learned, as I did, the fraternity is 166 years old this year, and that's a lot of history and tradition that's kind of reinforced at these meetings. I remember meeting graduate brothers from all different eras. In fact, some of them, I swear, were friends with John Templeton McCarty, but still involved over many, many years of service. And it's that kind of perspective that made me realize that leadership commitment that you have, that I had at the time, that I have today, is a bigger job than what you see locally. You're part of a bigger organization. And I hope you take the time over the next couple of days to appreciate that, and I hope it strikes you the same way, because I think it elevates the focus you're going to put on the next couple of days. We have an outstanding program and a great facility laid out for you over tomorrow. And how you handle that's up to you. Are you going to coast through? You can stay out late tonight, party into the evening, sleep in, show up in body only and sit through the sessions. Or you can really engage or dig in. And by dig in, I mean show up on time, participate, ask questions, take notes, but most importantly, give some serious thought and consideration to the messages and materials you're seeing. And think about how that applies to you and to your chapter, and what are you going to do about that? Over the last 30 years of my career, I've had a chance to attend a lot of different seminars and educational sessions. And I typically found that when you can get out of the office and get away from things, get away from campus, get away from the chapter house, get away from family, and really dedicate time and attention and focus, you will walk out with a lot of great ideas. Some of these ideas are going to be, as Towner said, nuts and bolts, very practical, hands-on tips and hints, things that will make you more effective in your role as a leader or a committee chairman or an officer of the chapter. But sometime over this next day or so, if you really dig in, I think you're going to find some big ideas. By big ideas, I mean a new perspective or a different view on a problem than you had before that may take you down a different set of solutions. You may have a creative flash. I know sometimes sitting in these, you may hear the speaker talking about one topic, but somehow that triggers a new idea in your mind, totally unrelated, that helps you solve or come to a different conclusion in a completely different area, a creative flash. It might be an insight on your leadership style, where you've identified something, if I did this a little differently, I could be a much more effective leader. Or it might simply be an inspiration you heard from another speaker or one of our educational leaders that inspires you to tackle one of those persistent problems or issues your chapter or colony has had for years. But these big ideas can be transformational. They can be game-changing. They can change the trajectory of your leadership and your chapter if you take them and act upon them. In some of the materials, we use the word courageous leader. You'll see that in some of the materials, and we've used that as a theme in the past. But a courageous leader is someone that's got the determination, the guts, the grit, the persistence to take these big ideas back home and act upon them. Over these next 2 days, if you dig in and you find those big ideas, I'd like to leave you with kind of 3 thoughts about what to do with those big ideas. First of all, take advantage of the resource that is in this room. Look around, nearly 700 Fijis in this room. We have the expertise of our headquarters staff, our paid professionals that work in Phi Gamma Delta every day. And I can tell you, after serving on the board, the Archon for the last 4 years, we have the best headquarters staff in the business. Depth, experience, knowledge, authentic, approachable. Take advantage of the staff that's here. We have 130 graduate volunteers here that have years and years of hands-on practical experience. They've seen and dealt with many of the same issues and concerns that you're dealing with. Tap them for help. But maybe most importantly, draw upon your peers that are here in this room. We have some of the top leaders in Phi Gamma Delta here in the room. I doubt there are many issues, problems, or challenges that you can bring up that someone in here hasn't already dealt with. We have leaders in this room that have taken on hazing and eliminated it from their pledge education program. We have leaders in here that came from chapters with pretty mediocre scholastic performance, but over time has built that up, where now they consistently beat the all men's and all fraternity averages. We have leaders in here that have struggled with membership recruitment year after year, but have found a way to overcome that and now can consistently deliver solid pledge classes year after year. We've got chapters in here that have won the Condon Cup for the most improved chapter, that have made substantial progress and improvements in all operational areas of the fraternity in a very short period of time. And we've got Cheney Cup contenders, our award for the top fraternity, top chapter in Phi Gamma Delta that can consistently deliver high results and performance. Somewhere in this room, a brother has met and dealt with the same challenges you face. Use the resources that are in this room. Number 2, get a sense of urgency behind your big idea. Most big ideas do not have deadlines or timelines attached to them. And if you don't create that sense of urgency, it can fade away over time. I'd mentioned I'd attended a variety of seminars and educational sessions. I'm a note taker. I often keep these notes and I put them in a file. And occasionally I'll pull that file out for some of the better seminars I've been to and just read over some of those ideas. And frankly, it's almost sickening how many ideas never saw the light of day. They rotted away on my notepad, never getting implemented, never taking action, because by the time I got back to the office or back to the organization, the day-to-day activities came up. You need to get a sense of urgency. Take action on these big ideas now, tonight, tomorrow. Use that time with your brothers while you're here to start the discussion. What big ideas have you guys found as a group? Discuss it with your graduate advisors. Discuss it as a group. Many of you are going to have 5 or 6 hour drives back home in the car. Talk about it then. You may be sitting at the gate at the airport for an hour. Talk about it then. You may be meeting for breakfast tomorrow. Talk about it then. Lay out some next steps and some actions and hold each other accountable. If you wait till you get back to campus, the momentum will begin to die off. By the time you get back, new class schedules, new loads, spring recruitment will start. Before you know it, it's spring break. Then you're dealing with finals and your term's half over. Get a sense of urgency behind these actions that you identify and get moving right away. And the third thought I would leave you with is to step up to the challenge. You know, big problems, big ideas, big initiatives, big challenges are often the hardest to deal with. They're not as easy. Sometimes it requires breaking from the past and setting a new direction. Sometimes it requires digging into messy culture issues in your chapter. It takes time and it's hard work, but you're up to the challenge. Before I took my current role professionally, as Bill said, I spent 14 years with my prior employer. And over that period of time, I had the opportunity and the privilege to run 5 different businesses for that company, each one progressively bigger, more complicated, and bigger challenges. And each time those promotional or new opportunities came along, I felt like I was ready. I had produced the results, I had earned that opportunity, and I was ready. But I can also tell you in every one of those roles, at some point that little voice in the back of your head starts throwing some doubt out there that makes you question whether you're over your head, whether you're really the right man for the job, or hoping they don't figure out you're not as good as they think you are. Or you may wonder, why did they elect me for this role when there's more competent and capable leaders in the company? I don't care how successful you've been, whether you're a chief executive officer, a president, or a leader in your chapter, at some point that little voice of doubt will creep in and start telling you you're not ready for the challenge. Don't listen to that voice. We've all been there and it's part of it. Dampen that voice out and move on with your challenge and take on the big ideas. You will find it some of the most rewarding leadership experience you ever have by taking on the big ideas. Brothers, you've been either elected or appointed by your peers, which is quite an honor. They look to you to make change and to drive improvement in your chapters and colonies. And I hope you get a sense that you're part of something much bigger than what you see on your campuses. I encourage you to dig in over these next 2 days. Yep, take advantage of the nuts and bolts and hands-on. I mean, that's really what this is designed for. But look for your big idea. When you find your big idea, take advantage of the resources, seek out the help here, build that sense of urgency, and don't be intimidated by the challenge. Step into the challenge. I wish nothing more for you than for you to find your big idea and be the courageous leader that takes it back home and makes it happen. And finally, I just say, have fun while you're here. This could be one of the most rewarding undergraduate Phi Gamma Delta experiences you've had. Enjoy each other's company, enjoy your time here, and I wish each and every one of you all the best, and I'm mighty proud to be a Fiji.